people are writing in all the time. We're actually going to talk more about the First Nations, or what is called the Aboriginal native tribes of people that were here on the North American continent, which is also called Turtle Island. I like to call it Turtle Island.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And they had a form of government, and some people are willing to argue it or describe it in terms of a matriarchy or a balance, including matriarchy with the patriarchy. And there is a complaint that the United States federal government and the entire nation itself was created under patriarchy. So let's talk about this. Who wants to go first?
Oh yeah, tribal councils.
Give us a little bit of background on this.
Tribal councils, are pretty much an imposition,
rewind to the history.
The American idea of government,
What's the history of it?
I'm not sure about the history exactly, because
what did the Iroquois do?
Well, the Iroquois, there was this the hero of the Iroquois nation, who instituted this thing called the Great Law of Peace.
Seneca?
No, he was a Mohawk.
Oh,
but
okay.
the Seneca were one of those nations, and they had a pretty good thing going on, they didn't fight with one another, but they broke up, when the
there are 5 or 7 tribes.
When the French and the English arrived, then they joined up as to work for these guys, were mercenaries, and
they were always being manipulated, or with. You had the French join up in Quebec with who were they up there? The Algonquins.
Oh yeah,
and
some of those people have been wiped out.
Mohicans?
Well, the Algonquin is a language group. And there are probably still some Algonquin speakers up there.
Athabascans.
Yeah, Athabascans are to the west.
So they just come down into the New York and New England area, and was fighting them with who were allied with the British.
Yeah.
So this was like the history around the 1700s.
Yeah, some people were fighting and scouting for the French, and some were.
So tell me, how does this factor in with the women, the power of women?
Well,
at
the
that
clan
time?
houses, quite often, as tribal elders, when you get old enough that you know a little bit because you've seen it come down
like an
over
elder.
and over again.
Elders.
Yeah, so you get some of the women, are very important elders, and they're very important in the clan house. Each clan, there'll be a turtle clan, there'll be a wolf clan. People, these clans have decided, that the nature of their medicine, it could be associated with these animals, perhaps. It's usually a language of
Animism.
nature, which. Yeah, well, the language of nature is kind of like, for many Native American people, it's kind of like their Bible. They read their history and, observing nature,
Before we go over to the female point of view, because I believe that I can also speak for the female point of view, even though some woman-bodied souls might not like it. But before we do that, can you give us a song from one of the native languages and tradition? Can you do something appropriate?
Yeah, I'll sing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hey Anna, ho, Anna, hey nay nay Anna, hey Anna ho, Anna he Anna, hey nay nay Anna, hey Anna ho, Anna he Anna, hey nay Yahweh. That's just a little clip of a peyote song. This is Native American Church.
Oh, from Morningstar.
Quanah Parker
Church?
created a Native American church and went to the U.S. government and got a charter, so that those people who are members of the church, can carry a card so that they can legally possess peyote.
Was that within the Navajo Nation, or were they from
He was a Winnebago,
Comanche?
but he was probably associated with Comanche. He was a pretty smart businessman and became fairly wealthy, and he married a white woman whose name was Cynthia Parker. I don't know whether he stole her or whether she...
He stole her.
But
All those
anyway,
Comanches
but they
are
got
always
along.
stealing the white women.
Yeah, I met one of her descendants recently.
Yeah, nice.
Who was also named Cynthia Parker.
Were they keeping the tradition going?
Well, no, she was just a blonde chick, she was.
Man.
She bit off more than she could chew, She was cleaning our house for $5,000, but she couldn't handle it. It was more.
Well, we
work.
don't need to know about all that.
Yeah. Anyway,
but here, let's
as
go.
Far as
let's
Quanah
go
Parker
over
is
this
concerned, the Native American Church, it may have derived out of Sundance. A lot of the Sundance people ended up in the Native American Church. The U.S. government suppressed the Sundance with a will. Well, Voca, had a vision, and spread the idea of the Sundance, in the Ghost Dance shirts. Not the Sundance, excuse me. I'm speaking Ghost Dance now. Not
go
Sundance.
for the ghost dance. The
Yeah.
ghost dance has been banned.
Yeah, the ghost dance was
But
banned
I
by
don't
the US
believe they
military.
can do that.
Well, like anyway.
I support the ghost dance,
Yeah.
but of course we don't need to talk
Yeah.
about that prophecy here because that's
Yeah.
kind of a retaliation, a
Right.
reaction. We're going back to the
Dancing back
roots.
to Buffalo.
Let's
Yeah.
hear the female perspective on this, the
All right.
matriarchy. Talk some
Oh,
about
yeah, that's cool.
matriarchy.
Yeah.
Well, something that I can say I've heard in
Take the floor.
in the Cherokee history, and I'm sure that this is true with many of the other indigenous tribes as well, but that there would be, just to show a balance of the masculine feminine that I think works really well in how this was done, a tribal council of 12 of the elder women would gather and elect who the male leader would become. Now, I don't see that in today's society. We have election,
you don't.
but a council of 12 women who actually would elect the male. Now that shows me something in society. To have 12 women actually stand together and say we are in total union and support that this man is shown great skills of leadership and we believe in him.
Excuse me.
Then
That was not me.
then a little offset, something a bear.
Well, I mean to be
then
serious.
I
I mean,
want to
I
say
want
that-
I want to hear more about this. Can you say how who practiced this and
Well, I heard that it
where
was
this
the Cherokee. The Cherokee tribes were the ones that
Nice.
that actually practiced this.
So what do the Cherokee actually call themselves? The people,
well-
right? Cherokee is
Well, we're
known
using
as
terms that just
the
most
people.
people watching.
They always
can-
call themselves the
can
people.
learn, but there are other proper words. that
I'm
we
really
use.
big into the Apache, so I think we're gonna have to do a whole video series on the
I
Apache,
wonder if
real
the Apache may
soon.
have done something very
And
similar.
the Apache really are called the
Of
Nde,
course, right as you're turning it,
Nde.
you've got
and that's where they got the
farting on
term
side, you've
Indians
got a baby screaming,
from.
So
So it's not really
I
a
would like to talk more about this
dishonorable
later.
term if you look at it in the Apache language, which is Athabascan. Is that the Athabascan
Yeah,
language
the
group?
Apaches are Athabascans. They came here before the Navajo. The Navajo or the Dene, but the language is diverged
Dine
enough.
and Nde, kind of opposite.
Yeah, the
in a
language
way.
has evolved. Some since they came here. They came here about the time the lava was flowing up around Zuni.
And the Zunis probably came from the Anasazi.
Yeah,
Right?
their current
Or were they from the
territory includes
Mogollons?
Hopi and Zuni, and parts of they're pretty much the four corners. They're and then there's Mountain Utes and
The Utes up into Utah. That's how they got the name
and
Utah,
Colorado,
in fact.
yeah.
Well, I don't want to digress
Hooray,
too much into the names of the tribes and the First Nations.
As far as the Apaches,
But she wants a chance to talk more because let's stay focused on this matriarchy idea that you can find previous to the United States being formed. Let's talk about that and how, if we understand that, we need to integrate that back in.
Well, let's talk a little bit about
And not through Hillary
what
Clinton.
a woman's roles were at that point in that time. Often she was a mother, and so she was doing things and rituals of her day that made her, in my opinion, extremely what the feminine represents. And so we had a more balanced sense of society of what the masculine was and what the feminine was. And I think it went more hand in hand, and men and women could love each other much better. And there wasn't this weird competition of who's trying to be at the top, because everyone was at the top of what was natural in nature for them to be doing. And if a woman was basket weaving or weaving the cloth or, caring for the children or, preparing the meals together with her other sisters, it was just very natural. She wasn't trying to grab the lead sword of what the man would carry and go out and become something that she really wasn't. But she was still a leader of being the feminine representation. And it just went hand in hand, like just fit together like the yin and yang perfectly, in my opinion, of that society. And I believe that if we look at too, like what a woman was doing, she was creating, whether it was a sacred cornmeal circle, teaching her children at their first birthdays to go out and become one with the elements and that we're one with nature. in today's society, I mean, there are things such as if you go to a rainbow gathering, you'll probably meet some women that are still in these practices. But if you're in just suburban neighborhoods,
Or you
in
can
the
go
cities,
to a powwow.
Yeah,
you
you're
can go
like
to a
in
A real
powwow.
legitimate powwow.
But keep in mind
They have
that
one in Albuquerque
the
every year.
majority of people have been now programmed under what the government came and just, brutally slain a lot of these tribes and kicked them off their land and told them to stop, and now I know, they have land and casinos, and I'm sure a lot of the ways are still there, and I would love to meet these people. Someone I would like to mention that you would be probably really honored to meet is Velarni del Yawahu. I want to make sure I say her name right, but I'd like to make sure that you can post that up sometime. She's someone that you should check out sometime because she is one of the lead medicine women of the Cherokee tribe that goes around. She does lectures and things like that with people, and she's also tied in with some
she write any
practices of
books?
Buddhism.
Did she write on herbs?
I'm sure, yeah. She's very much into. She's considered to be the healer and the sacred medicine woman of the beauty secrets of the tribe. She's really fascinating woman.
We need to find out about
And she's
that.
pretty amazing.
I need some more beauty tips.
She's really
Yeah. Wilma Mainkiller was the chief of the tribal council for quite a while, and she was very competent.
Yeah, bro.
She was a pretty good president.
Yeah?
And like I
Is that a
respected
federal?
her.
Is that on the federal level? The
Well,
national council?
basically, that's the tribal council is recognized, like as the authority by the what do you call them? Indian Affairs.
Oh, we're getting more into the current thing
yeah,
here.
but
I wanted to talk about just
she's
history
no longer
here
got the job, but,
because
she
the
held
current
job for a
state of
while.
affairs
She did good.
is
The Cherokee were
complicated
yeah.
and it's actually
they
a
were
lot more
very,
touchy. I don't want to go into it because I'm not. I'll admit I'm not qualified to say.
Well,
I mean, see, there's my ego for me crush. Getting
Well, these
crushed.
people lived a lot like the
I don't know.
Europeans, and they
And,
had they created their own.
as a
script
result
for
of being
writing,
put on the
so they
reservations
could
and
write the
all,
language. They had newspapers,
and that whole
they owned
transition.
slaves. And anyway, it
I
was
think
very
we
much
should
like
go
the
back to a
Southerners,
balance of power, and I want to
Yeah.
see that we do it the right way.
Mhm.
And I've given examples and stuff where I don't think it's being done properly with some of the women that are, getting involved. There's no difference in them with the men. They're just like these warmongering capitalistic men. And I think that the reason why they've been able to get out of control,
I don't
all
know,
the
I
men,
don't know
is
what causes
because maybe the masculine loses touch with its real natural self
I have my
when the
theories of
feminine
what's
is
going on
not
here.
there. I mean, this is such
They're
a
probably
deep
both chasing
subject
money.
in
That's
politics.
probably what it's
and-
about. Probably
Oh,
about money and power
yeah,
and property.
yeah.
and
The women, if they're not nature-based,
notoriety and-
I want to
yeah.
call it.
Yeah.
If they're not
Yeah.
like a thankful, humble philosophy, if their philosophy is about take over, use, abuse, and everything, then the male and the female will influence each other to be that way.
Well, there's
You'll
certainly
get
more
men who
similarities
become
than there are difference, but people are
rich,
different,
and then you
know.
get women who become gold diggers after that because they want a piece of that action. They're not nature-based. So we're actually talking about men and women getting involved
That's right.
to transform the society back to something that's more reasonable,
Or
more
forward.
sustainable, or
Yeah.
Women need to keep
natural.
in mind too, when you step out of
You
your
get around the
feminine
circle and
balance
get
of where
right
you're
here.
supposed to be in harmony with nature, you're going to lose pieces of your beauty and representation. And I'm not saying that defines a woman has to be a certain size, a certain look, a certain color, anything. I'm saying when you're in nature and harmony in indigenous ways, you will become beautiful. Doesn't matter your age, anything.
Yeah,
But
sure.
when you step
Yeah,
out
just
of
like
that
trees
and you're
are
trying to
beautiful.
live in this
Yeah.
this concrete society, you will lose your beauty. And with that, a woman will become bitter and angry.
Nobody looks good in
And
concrete.
you
let me
can't
tell you.
run your country if you're bitter and angry, and then you're going to be angry at the masculine because he will seek beauty elsewhere. And so a woman has to be able
That's a male
to find
child over there, by
her
the way.
beauty.
So
And I have all male children. So, and this one is having fussing him because he's in the desert. And he doesn't
So
like the
there's a lot of
pokies.
reasons. I'm not going to
Doesn't
get
like
into the
pokies.
child psychology type of thing here, and
That's not what that video
because
is about.
they're doing well, but I don't like to hear any of this kind of thing crying. I see that a child is better left seen but not heard.
I've seen, not absurd.
Yeah, or that way about it. But that's not about women just raising them. This is very much
This is a good one.
parenting is being done from both sides. I do a lot of it, as you know. So I don't want to digress into that. I just want to let's conclude by saying that we're into communicating and discussion about this idea of women getting more involved and the men knowing that it's going to be equal quantity being involved, but in a different way completely than the imperial system that we all want to improve. Let's just say improve. I'm not saying end it. If there's aspects of it that are going to end, so be it.
Can I suggest we end the video maybe with another song? Maybe we could hear
Okay,
another.
do you have a
Well, you
Cherokee
sing
song?
I wish
or...
that I had a good teacher.
Okay.
Right now. in
Are
my
you
life
ready?
with it.
Can you do another one?
Oh, no,
Can
I
you do
can't do
another
any
clip?
more of those right now. I
You
don't think.
can't. No, you can't do
Um,
any more.
But,
Okay.
you remember some songs? Sing a song.
Well, I think we're gonna
I think
go
that
now
we need a female
because,
singing a song here.
that'll be another video. The
Okay.
music.